20 world's most amazing birds. From a bird that sounds like a machine gun to one that is closer in size to a bumblebee, here's 20 fascinating flyers that look like they could have come from another planet. Number 20. Andean Condor. So much about the Andean Condor is unique and amazing. Their wingspan can be up to 11 feet and they can reach a weight of over 30 pounds, making them the largest flying birds in the world. They can be found in the Andes Mountains, where they nest at elevations as high as 16,000 feet on rock ledges that are inaccessible to man. Often appearing in folklore and mythology of the Andean regions, the condor is incredibly popular and a national symbol of many of the nations that lie along the Andes path.
Number 19.
Oilbird. As the only nocturnal fruit-eating birds around, the oilbird is unique. It's also a fascinating creature that spends its days sleeping in caves. Found in the northern areas of South America, where they are known as the guacharo, they have specially adapted eyesight that allows them to see better in the dark. They navigate through echolocation, a process also used by bats. Oilbirds make a high-pitched clicking sound that, unlike sounds bats make, is audible to humans. Remarkably, every bird's sound is a slightly different pitch, which allows them to distinguish their own voice from that of another oilbird. Back in the day, indigenous Venezuelan people would have an oil harvest during which they would hike into caves and use poles to destroy thousands of guacharos. They would use the bird's fat to do everything from flavor food to fuel torches.
Number 18.
Wilson's Bird of Paradise. Sir David Attenborough is a nature genius. He was able to record the first ever footage of a Wilson's Bird of Paradise by dropping leaves on the forest floor. He knew that this would irritate the bird into coming down and clearing them away. Their plumage is visually striking and varies in color from dark red to a nearly neon green, making the Wilson's Bird of Paradise one of the most colorful animals on the planet.
Number 17.
White-crowned hornbill. The way white-crowned hornbill mothers see it, they are the only ones who can properly raise their children. They lay their eggs, which are white and come in pairs in a tree hole. After this, they seal themselves in by blocking the entrance with droppings, mud, and whatever else is around them. The father, friends, and other family members feed the female and the chicks through a narrow hole. Mom will only let her young out of this situation when the chicks are able to fly. What an attentive, hands-on way to raise your kids.
Number 16.
Sword-billed hummingbird. These birds have beaks that are unbelievably long. They are even longer than their bodies, making them the only birds in the world to have such out-of-whack proportions. They also have unusually long tongues. It's all an adaptation that allows them to reach into and feed on long flowers. Like all hummingbirds, it's pretty tiny overall, only weighing around half an ounce on average. This does, however, make them one of the largest species of hummingbirds in the world.
Number 15.
Snowy owl. You can find these gorgeous birds on land in the wintertime hunting in windswept fields. In the summer, they flock far north of the Arctic Circle, where 24-hour daylight allows them to prey on their favorite critters like lemmings and ptarmigan.
Number 14.
Satin Bowerbird. Male satin bowerbirds have made their species famous thanks to the way they decorate their bowers. In order to attract female mates, not only do they build their bower as well as possible, but they also go all out on decorations. They find anything blue that they can get their claws on, from clothes pegs to bottle tops, and adorn their cribs with these items. As if this wasn't enough, they also have to perform a ritualized display of exaggerated dance moves to finally win a mate over.
Number 13.
Hoopoe. Like the cuckoo, this creature's name derives from the sound of its soft, far-carrying song. People who have climbed Mount Everest may have spotted or heard one of these birds on their way up to the summit. They have been recorded on the mountain as high up as 26,000 feet. The hoopoe has an abundant population throughout Europe, Asia, North Africa, and Madagascar.
Number 12.
Laughing Kookaburra. You know those stock sound effects of jungle settings? The loud, distinctive call of the laughing kookaburra, which sounds like laughter, is often included as part of the soundtrack on those recordings. They sit around a lot, either waiting to pounce on worms or small snakes on the ground, or just hanging out. Found in Australia, as well as parts of New Zealand and Tasmania, they occupy the same territory year-round. They're also monogamous and keep the same partner for their entire lives.
Number 11.
Shoebill stork. You can easily distinguish this giant stork from its huge bill, which looks a lot like, well, a shoe. They have some odd habits, such as pooping on their own legs to keep cool. They also make loud, terrifying, machine gun-like noises when greeting fellow birds. Though they could potentially be a scary threat to humans, they rarely come in contact with people. Native to the swamps of eastern tropical Africa, they prey on anything from eels and catfish to baby crocodiles. That's right, this bird eats crocodiles.
Number 10.
Yellow Bellied Sunbird Asity. With a striking, distinct yellow belly, these birds are endemic to forests on the island of Madagascar. For a time, people thought they were nearly extinct, but luckily now they are considered vulnerable. They are still, like many other animals, threatened due to habitat loss and fragmentation.
Number 9.
Tufted Puffin. This awesome-looking bird is medium-sized and abundant in North Pacific open waters, islands, and coastline cliffs. It was first described by renowned German zoologist Peter Simon Pallas.
Number 8.
Velvet Asity. That bright green growth above its eye isn't the only cool thing about the velvet Asity. They also give their nests a more homey feel than most other birds. They build these awesome hanging structures complete with a roof over the entrance.
Number 7.
Paradise riflebird. Found in forests throughout eastern Australia, male paradise riflebirds spend their entire lives perfecting their display ritual, which involves extending their wings upward. It makes for a pretty awesome sight that, from a distance, looks like some sort of cool bat signal.
Number 6.
Vulturine guinea fowl. It's hard to tell male and female vulturine guinea fowl apart. They both have the same color patterns. Either way, they are, as you can see, stunning and beautiful, to say the least. Their long bare neck and head have drawn similarities to a vulture and earned them their nickname.
Number 5.
Wallace's bird of paradise. Named after Alfred Russel Wallace, the British naturalist who originally discovered this stunning bird of paradise in 1858. This adorable animal of flight wouldn't be seen after its initial finding for nearly 60 years. It can be spotted, rarely, in the North Maluku province in eastern Indonesia, where it's endemic.
Number 4.
Great bowerbird. The most striking feature of the great bowerbird is the magenta crest that lies on the back of males' heads. Males spend most of their days building, maintaining, defending, and displaying from their bowers. They often build these structures under a shrub or leafy branch. Females, on the other hand, nest inconspicuously and raise their young on their own. You can find great bowerbirds in abundance throughout northern Australia.
Number 3.
Kagoo. These unusual birds make a barking-like sound that can reportedly be heard from a mile away. Endemic to Grand Terre, the largest island of New Caledonia, they are a seriously threatened species thanks to predation by domestic dogs and the loss of their habitat to development. Known as the ghost of the forest for their ash-white plumage, the kagoo is nearly flightless and spends most of its time around ground level.
Number 2.
Rainbow lorikeet. If you don't recognize a rainbow lorikeet right away, you might be colorblind. They have an instantly recognizable plumage that has a range of colors similar to, you guessed it, a rainbow, as well as a bright red beak. They are widespread in Australia, where they have an extremely aggressive reputation. They have been known to drag the nestlings of native Australian ringnecks from hollows and drop them to the ground before occupying the hollows themselves. Thanks for watching, and before you go, make sure to check out some other Knowledge Feed videos like 11 World's Scariest Spiders or 10 Abandoned Places Overrun by Mother Nature, for something a little more tame. And now,
Number 1.
Bee Hummingbird. If you're out birdwatching and want to catch a glimpse of the bee hummingbird, you're going to need a really good pair of binoculars. That's because these pint-sized birds are the smallest in the entire world. They measure just 2¼ inches in length, and get this, they only weigh 1.6 grams on average, which is comparable in mass to a dime. That's believed to be the lowest weight limit for any warm-blooded animal. They live on Cuba and the nearby Isle of Youth, where they spend most of their time feeding on nectar. In one day, a bee hummingbird can visit up to 1,500 flowers in pursuit of nourishment.